Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General Yahanna presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026 in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahanna. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and warlike apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.
More than 500 people die from it.
Over 500 people die in just the house fires alone. And these house fires start mainly from that bomb you're creating when you bring that tree in the house, or trying to cook something and forget it in the oven, right? Go ahead.
Colonel Khan. And more than 2,200 injuries.
More than 2,200 injuries, 47,000 homes, 500 deaths in the homes, 2,200 injuries. 2,200 injuries and over $5.5 million in damages.
$554 million.
Oh, $500 million.
Colonel Khan.
So was that you maybe last year that showed how fast you showed a video of the fire department showing how fast the Christmas tree burns?
Oh, brother, that's a good video. If you could find it.
I didn't even
think about it.
It was a brother that lit a Christmas tree on fire and posted it online.
The brother, not that one he's talking about. I think the brother was just he's doing something so the Christians would get angry. This one was how fast a Christmas tree can engulf a house. All right, I think the fire department, it was staged, right? It was a stage thing. You could look up the video. So you see the amount of damages that happened during this Christmas time that they, tell you it's the most wonderful time of the year. You have 2,200 people dying in house fires. Imagine you go to sleep one night and you never wake up. That smoke chokes you in your sleep, and then you catch a fire and burn to death. Like, that's a horrible way to go. Absolutely horrible way to go. Imagine the survivors is now homeless because you want to celebrate Christmas that has nothing to do with Christ. And you're out in the cold right now. It's bitter cold and we ain't even get to it yet. It's going to get in the negative in the next few weeks. Imagine now being without shelter because some idiot wants to celebrate Christmas. Like, you should never, ever do it. You shouldn't get in. You found it yet?
Making sure.
All right, no, so when you get, go ahead and play it. All right, so now give me, let's go into some of the customs with Christmas time, all right? Give me the mistletoe. Give me the history of the mistletoe. Somebody Google it, look it up.
Slack, sir.
Come on with it up.
That's kind of a segue what I was going to talk about the sexual assault and the violence goes rampant around that time, from alcohol consumption and all types of other sexual deviancies start to come out.
Absolutely, absolutely. I didn't even think about that part. Listen, I don't know why I didn't think about that part. I'm sitting right in here next to the child molester of the world. You get the point? I'm sitting right here next to him. The sexual deviancy also goes through the roof because of the intense euphoria. The euphoria is the drunken, the drunken happiness that happens. Is that it? Everybody can see it? Or not yet? I'm gonna get back to it, Matthew. That was a good point. Brother gonna show the video now. Make it bigger so everybody see that. All right, go ahead and play. All right. So you see the timer. Pause it right there. You see the timer, right? It's on 0. And this is a fire department showing you how fast it could go. Go ahead. The smoke is already there. We have 12 seconds. Now you sleep. You sleep at this point. How many of y'all have alarm clocks in the morning? How many times you hit that snooze and don't even remember hitting the snooze? So the fire alarm is going off if it even worked. So in our household, we prefer it beep for the whole year and never work. What time is that? That's probably less than a minute, right? Brother, the room blacker. Pause it. A dry tree can catch fire and burn faster than newspaper. From 2010 to 2012, there were an estimated annual average of 200 fires where the Christmas tree was the first item ignited, resulting in 10 deaths, 20 injuries, and $17 million in property loss. And this is in San Antonio. This is not nationwide. This is just in that stats for that area alone. Now I see how the 500 million comes in. You get the point? It's a ridiculous thing to have that thing in your house. It's ridiculous. If it's a dry tree, I think the pine has the oils in it that's also very flammable. You understand? And that accelerates it. Plus the tree is already, it's dried with the branches. So that's also combustible material. And that there's no venting. All that smoke is in there. You engulf anything, you're going to die from this damn tree. You really have a bomb in your house when you really look at it. Right? Even the electric ones. The electric ones start fires because why? Everybody, plugs everything into that one little plug in the wall and just get the circuit breaker and just add everything onto it. Overheat, fire, you're dead. Because Christmas has nothing at all to do with Christ or God. It's almost like a yearly sacrifice that's being made when you celebrate Christmas. It's almost like some people are going to die tonight or die next week, and we're not going to change. Whoever dies, die. Whoever doesn't die, well, next year maybe you'll die. All right? Who has mistletoe? Come on.
Salaki.
Come on with it.
So the evolution of a Christmas tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Why does
give me a mistletoe on the screen too, all right? Right? A mistletoe. Say it again.
The evolution of a Christmas tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Why does this parasitic plant remind us of romance?
Right? Why does this parasitic, I think it's parasitic, right?
Okay.
Why does this parasitic plant remind us of romance? What do you know about the mistletoe? You raise your hand real quicker. You raise your hand super quick, brother. Let me hear about the work wife. Go ahead.
In the movies, they always
say the movie. He said the movie. I asked him about the work wife. He said in the movie. He take himself out of that shit quickly.
In the movies, they always Salaki, sir. In the movies, they always talk about kissing under the mistletoe.
Mm-hmm. Kissing under the mistletoe on 4th of July?
La, sir.
Most High Christ. Captain Meshach in DC class. That was heavy. Most High Christ, Shalom. Yahweh Shem Eshakatham. To all the brothers, Yahweh Shemar Alathan, Bashim Yahushua, to all the sisters. I'm Priest Officer 5000 Malak. And this is the I.S.U.P.K Kansas City Wednesday night law class. And this is part 2 of Are There Any Good White People? Right? Part 2 of Are There Any Good White People? Go ahead and clap it up. Shalaki, that was heavy. Captain Meshach breaking down Christmas. That will be our topic next Wednesday. Because next Thursday is our precious Christmas holiday. It's his biggest holiday of the season. That, and I believe the 4th of July are his biggest holidays. Absolute complete financial windfall for the businesses in America, for the corporations in America like Amazon, like Microsoft, right? This is the biggest time of the year for them to make money, right? This is the third, we're in the final semester, the final quarter for America's financial system, for Wall Street. And this time of the year is a huge financial windfall so that those companies can make all the money back that they just gave, the money back that they just lost during Thanksgiving when they had the Black Friday sales and the Cyber Monday sales. So this time of the year, Christmas time, boy, it's a huge demon on our people. We'll go into that next Wednesday, right? Next Wednesday, we'll break down Christmas and our oppressor's holiday. You understand? Most High Christ. We'll go over Christmas and our oppressor's holiday, the New Year. We'll break all that down next week. That'll be for Tuesday night brotherhood and Wednesday night law class, right? But tonight we're going into part 2 of last Wednesday's topic, which is indeed, are there any good white people? And I believe last Wednesday we left off with reading a few scriptures, right? We left off with reading a couple of scriptures. I'm trying to find one of the scriptures that I sent to the brother. Give me 1 second, right? One of the scriptures I sent to him was this one of them? Thursday, December 4th. I don't think I ever did send him to the brother. I think I remembered. No, I did. Yeah, let's get one of those scriptures real quick. Let's get Psalm chapter 58 and verse 3. Let's grab that real quick. Right, we in Psalm chapter 58 verse 3. We're gonna grab that, and of course, as brothers and sisters come into the class, we are going to ask questions. Anybody has a question, anyone has a comment, anything, you put it in the chat. We're going to address your comment. We're going to address your question. 58 and 3. Yeah, that's what I want right here. Bring this closer. Oh, that'll be fine right there. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. And then we got a couple of videos to go into today. We didn't get a chance to bring out all of our videos last Wednesday, but we're going to bring out some videos today. All right. Make sure also if you're in class online, make sure you log in to this online form, this attendance sign-in form. So if you're a young brother or young sister who's wanting to get their Hebrew name, this is the sign-in link that you want to fill out so that you can earn your time, so that your time is accounted for every day you're in class for 90 days. Everybody understand? In fact, let me share that on Facebook as well. All right, bear with me. Just give me 1 second, and then we're going to go into tonight's class. Give me 1 second. We'll read this scripture. All right. Oh, that's another thing we're going to go over today, boy. Oh, my God. Does everybody know who Caroline Levitt is? Today, Vanity Fair, which is a magazine company, right? They produce magazines. Vanity Fair, Most High Christ Officer Kazak Ahmad, he was going in on Caroline Levitt. Kazak Ahmad, an officer in D.C., he went in on Caroline Levitt and the rest of the oppressors that are in Donald Trump's cabinet. As everybody knows, Donald Trump has an all-white cabinet. He has a cabinet full of oppressors, full of racists, bigots like himself, who he elected and nominated to be the Secretary of War, the Secretary of Treasury, the Secretary of the Public Housing, HUD. Now, he does have a brother that's in HUD, surprisingly, but he also had a black man who was the HUD Secretary the first term he served. He had old Ben Carson, Uncle Ben Carson, as his. That's something that don't blow your mind if you're a black Trump supporter. He always has a nigga as his HUD secretary, and that don't blow your mind. That should be something you look at as sideways, right? He's spitting in the face of black people. And I listened to a clip yesterday while I was at my slave, and this oppressor who served in his cabinet the first term, who was skeptical of Trump before he got into office. That's another thing that blacks and Hispanics don't understand about white people, right? If you can hear me, put a 1W in the chat. If you can hear me, put a 1W in the chat. That's something else that our oppressor, that blacks and Hispanics don't understand about our oppressor. Shalom, sis. Yahweh Shemar Lafai Bashim Yahweh Shah. Most High Christ, sister Shalom Nar says she can hear me. How you feel, sis? How you feel? Looking forward to seeing y'all this Saturday at the food drive. As y'all see behind me, real quick, a shout out to I.S.U.P.K Kansas City right here on Prospect. This Saturday, we'll be out there from 1 p.m. until around 3:30, 4 p.m. And we'll be donating chili, giving out chili, some hot chocolate, as well as winter clothes and provisions for all brothers and sisters, for anyone who is homeless. Anyone who is homeless and who is in need, we'll be donating food and clothes this Saturday, beginning at 1 p.m. on 3050 Prospect. Everyone understand? So with that being said, that's something our people don't understand. Most High in Christ. Sister Mommy Mariam said our video and sound is clear. Most High in Christ. Something we don't understand about our oppressor is that you may think that your oppressor is sincere, like Marjorie Taylor Greene. We're going to get into her too. You think that a white woman like Marjorie Taylor Greene, or this white man that was a part of Trump's cabinet that I was listening to last night, you may think that they're sincere when they have their doubts about Trump, when they're skeptics of Trump. There are people who, in his first term, there were oppressors they called never Trumpers, meaning people, white people, who just never liked Trump, who would never vote for Trump, who never liked Trump. And so they called them never Trumpers. Does anybody remember that? They called them never Trumpers. Well, listen, this devil who claimed to be a never Trumper, he then got a job from Donald Trump. And now he loves Trump. You understand? He was his lawyer or some garbage like that. And now he loves Trump. And this is something that our people don't understand. Okay, no sweat can come. Whenever you're ready, no sweat. This is something our people don't understand about our oppressor. Your oppressor really only cares about money. He cares about power and money, and that's it. So when you hear a white person skeptical of Trump, if Donald Trump gives them a job, they're going to love Trump. Guess who else hated Donald Trump's guts? Who was on the forefront, who pushed against him being elected for his first term? J.D. Vance, Donald Trump's vice president, the vice president of the United States of America, who Donald Trump chose as his running mate, who Donald Trump gave a job to. Now J.D. Vance loves Trump, and he can do no wrong. He's beyond reproach in J.D. Vance's eyes. That hillbilly, J.D. Vance. Well, listen, J.D. Vance was at the forefront of speaking ill against Trump, of telling the truth about Trump, how he's a communist. I'm sorry, not a communist. How he is a Nazi, and how he hates blacks and Hispanics. J.D. Vance, the vice president, was the first to say that. He hated Trump's guts. But guess what? Donald Trump gave him a job, and now J.D. Vance is the most loyal to Trump. You know why? Because white people really don't love or hate anything. They only care about money. And so if Donald Trump gives a white person a job, they're not going to hate him anymore because white people aren't sincere. And that's something you have to understand about your oppressor. Remember, we read last Wednesday, me and the brother here, we read last Wednesday that Esau, who was the forefather of our oppressor, he sold his birthright, his inheritance, because he was hungry. He didn't care about the wealth and the inheritance for his namesake, all because he was hungry. That's how little he cared about it. He cared about it so little that he gave it away. He gave it away for what? A pot of soup, a bowl of soup, not even a pot, but a small bowl of soup, so that he did not faint. So that he did not faint, he gave away his inheritance, gave away his birthright, gave away his namesake, gave away the covenant that his father was going to give him. He gave it all away, which should tell you what about white people. They don't care about anything other than what satisfies their lust. That's it. Because Donald Trump gives J.D. Vance a job, J.D. Vance doesn't hate Donald Trump. J.D. Vance hated Trump the most until Donald Trump gave him a job. That devil I was listening to, his ex-lawyer, Donald Trump's ex-lawyer, who absolutely hated Trump before Trump gave him a job. You hated him, and then he gave you a job, and now you love him, because the oppressor only cares about what satisfies his lust, and that's all he cares about. Everyone understand? Salakia. Shalom, priest. Yahanna. What's going on, Cucumber Bar?
Hey, shalom, shalom. How
you feeling now?
I'm too wild. How's it going over there?
Oh, it's too wild, brother. It's too wild. Cucumber, it's always good to see you. You and your rib that's in class every week. It's always good to see y'all. Like the water.
Yeah,
so like Cucumber, if I may. So like say it again, Cucumber.
No, I was just saying the underbar.
Oh, most high Christ. If I may get Psalms 58:3. We're going to finish off the precepts from last Wednesday. And we're also going to go into the videos we did not hit last Wednesday. But like I was just telling the class, we did go over Genesis, the 25th chapter, the inception of Esau, our oppressor, and we went over his downfall. We went over the spirit of every white person, which is the need to satisfy their lust. If your oppressor has a lust for blood, which he does, there is nothing more important than him getting that lust satiated. There is nothing more important to the oppressor. If he has a lust and greed for money, he's going to get that money by any means necessary. This is what you have to understand about white people. They are unlike any other race of people in that they don't have the moral ethic, the moral code. They don't have the integrity that any other person has. It's damn sure that blacks and Hispanics, Native Indians have. There are certain things that we just will not do, no matter how much money you give us, no matter how poor we are. There are blacks and Hispanics who will not sell their soul just to make money, who will not kill their father or their mother just to get the insurance check. There are things that we will not do just so that we can be successful. That is off the table for white people. Do you understand, Kakum? White people will absolutely sell their birthright for a red stew, just like their forefather Esau did. That's why the Bible says in Hebrews 12:6, lest there be any profane than Esau, who sold his birthright for a morsel of meat. God finds it so disgusting that Esau would do something so heinous, all because he felt weak. All because he felt weak. So because you feel weak, what are you going to do now? You're going to give up your birthright? You're going to give it away all because you're weak? Because you feel like you're going to faint? Because you think in your mind that you're going to die? So what are you going to do so that you don't die? This is the question you better ask about your oppressor. This is why it is very important to teach your children who the devil the Bible speaks of is. Because if you do not teach blacks and Hispanics that the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of, we are bound to be destroyed by his work. We are bound to be destroyed by his bloodlust. We're bound to be destroyed by his devices, like child support, like his political system. You understand? So like we have a comment from the sister. She says, the sister Zara's mother is in critical condition and is being flown out by helicopter to get more medical help. Please send prayers for her mother. Listen, at the end of class, we absolutely will send up prayers for Sister Zara's mother. And I ask that every brother and sister send prayers up. This is a great sister in the school, in the Des Moines, Iowa school. Sister Zara, the rib of Officer Tizan up in Illinois, the camp leader of Nebraska. Please send prayers up for that sister. All right, we will at the end of class. The water says, give the sister a hand. Read what you got, Kakunga Bar.
Yeah, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 58, and verse 3. It says, the wicked are estranged from the womb.
What did the Bible say?
The wicked are estranged from the womb.
And listen, if I may come, this is what's so apropos to tonight's class, because we are currently holding down the 8-day memorial of Hanukkah.
That's right.
A holy day, or a Salakia memorial, where there were just a few strong black and Hispanic men who stood for what was right when everyone else was turning cur to the oppression of the Greeks. When every other black and Hispanic were afraid and scared to death of Antiochus the king after Alexander the Great, we had a few brothers, just a few. Mattathias had 5 sons. 5 sons, and he had the ear of the people because he lived uprightly, because he was a hardcore brother, because his sons and Mattathias had a reputation of having integrity, of being righteous, of being good men. They had the ear of the people. And because they had the ear of the people, guess what? When the king's men came to Mattathias for him to betray his oath, for him to betray his honor, for him to turn cur like Dr. King, for him to be a coward and to be bought off like your black religious leaders, like Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, like Quentin Lucas, the mayor of Kansas City, he thought that they would be able to buy him off but that's not the spirit of the Lord. The spirit of the Lord is not that of a coward. The spirit of the Most High is not that of someone who's going to turn cur because they face death, because they look death in the eyes. Matthias was a hardcore brother with the spirit of God on him. And he told that devil, he told the king's men that we will not turn from the right or the left to serve your God. We will serve our God, whether it means death, whether it means us getting our eyes and our tongues burned out of our head. We are willing to fight, die, and go to jail for what we believe. That's a man. That's a man, unlike white men. Unlike white men like J.D. Vance, who hate a man until he gives him a job and enough power. J.D. Vance is going to sway with the wind can come. The white men and women who are in Trump's cabinet all hated Donald Trump before he gave them a job. White people don't know what integrity truly means. They don't know what it means to have the spirit of God because they are wicked, like Psalms 58 says. The Bible says the wicked are estranged from the womb. They were born that way. Do you understand? Our oppressor can't help himself. He was born like that. He can't help but to be a murderer. He can't help but to be a liar. He can't help but to be a thief and a drug addict and a stinking liar. He can't help it. He can't help but to break his oaths with the Iroquois or the Arapaho or the Navajo or the Comanche. He can't help but to kill the Cherokee and to walk them with riddled blankets full of monkeypox or full of smallpox. He can't help but to be a devil. He can't help it. That is what God created him to be. Guess what God did for us? He gave us strong men like Yahanna, like Matthias and Judas Maccabees, and Moses and Joshua and Aaron and Caleb and Samson. He gave us strong brothers so that we can look up to, so we can be like them. God gave them Esau. He gave them Duke. He gave them Amalek. He gave them the people who run this world with wicked lies, with blasphemous lies. That's who our oppressor looks up to. That's the reason why they're not supposed to be in charge. That's the reason why. That's the reason why we're supposed to be in charge, because we are the people who have integrity. We're the people who won't sway from the right or the left. I break this down every year for Hanukkah. That's the reason why white people look at men like Colin Kaepernick and Muhammad Ali. They look at them as silly, foolish. Why in the hell would you blow $20 million? Why would you blow your Hall of Fame professional career just to take a stand against something? White people didn't understand that when Colin Kaepernick took a knee. You know why? Because there is no white player, there is no white athlete who's going to stand for anything other than money. White people only know how to satisfy their lust. They don't know how to really have integrity, how to stand for something. That's the question that we're asking tonight. Are there any good white people? Have there been white men or women who have stood for what was right, who risked their lives for the right thing? We're going to go into it later. Keep going, Cucumber Bar.
Psalms 58, verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb.
The wicked are
They go astray as soon as they are born. Speaking lies.
Say, what's the last part?
Speaking lies.
God loves everybody.
Speaking lies.
I wasn't the one who had you enslaved.
Speaking lies.
It wasn't me that did it.
Speaking lies.
We should all let bygones be bygones.
Speaking lies.
The Irish were slaves.
Speaking lies.
The Italians were slaves.
Speaking lies.
Everybody's been in slavery. What makes you so special?
Speaking lies.
That's the white man. He can never listen. I made a video of Cucumber Bar. It's sitting at around 5,000 views on Facebook, right? I made a video that asked the question. All I did was ask a question. I asked the question of how is it that you have these white soldiers who come home from war from the Vietnam War, from World War II, World War I, and the global war on terror, GWAT. How is it that they come home with all of this PTSD from defending their nation? Think about what a soldier is doing over across the pond when he goes to Afghanistan and Iraq and Vietnam. He's defending his country against terrorism. He's defending his country against the Nazis. And when they go to do the right thing and kill their enemies, they feel guilty about it. So much so that they have something, they develop something called post-traumatic syndrome, post-traumatic stress syndrome, where they go crazy because they feel guilty about all of the violence that they did against the other races of people, against the Arabs, against the Vietnamese, against white Germans. They feel guilty about it, Kukum Gabar. But at the same time, they were fighting wars here in America. They were being cruel to Blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. At the same time, they were fighting wars and feeling guilty about what they did to the Vietnamese. They were lynching Black men in the South with their sons and their daughters present. And they felt no guilt about it. They developed no PTSD about it. And I asked the question, Kukum, if white men feel guilty, if they have PTSD for going to war, why don't they have PTSD for when they murder us in the streets? Why don't they have PTSD for Atiana Jefferson, for Emmett Till, for the lynchings and the slaves and the Trail of Tears and the Spanish conquistadors? Why are they proud of their heritage? Why are they proud of America for the cruelty against our people? But when it comes to going to war, they regret it as soon as they come home. They feel guilty about it so much they can't sleep at night. Most veterans are going to die by the hand of their own gun. Most police officers are going to die by the hands of their own gun. Why do they never feel guilty about what they do to us? Do you want to know why? Read the last part of that scripture.
Psalms 58, verse 3. They go astray as soon as they be born.
Keep going.
Speaking lies.
Speaking what?
Speaking lies.
They speak lies. You know, the biggest lie, one of the biggest lies that came after slavery during the Reconstruction era, separate but equal. Have you ever heard that before? Separate but equal. Have you ever heard of a man by the name of, can you look up who Frederick Douglass's biggest donor was? I forget this oppressor's name. There was a white man who was the benefactor for Frederick Douglass. Everyone knows Frederick Douglass. He was a freedom fighter for Negroes in America. He's the one who delivered that speech on July 4th, 1876, sometime around there. And he had the famous speech, the 4th of July speech, where he said, to what is the 4th of July for the Negro? He was a huge proponent to ends. He was an abolitionist. He was a famous abolitionist for Black people in America to end slavery for the Negroes in the South. And he was the one who tried and begged the oppressor to give us 40 acres and a mule during the Reconstruction era. That was Frederick Douglass. He had the afro. He was, he's one of, they call him the biggest civil rights, or at this time it wouldn't be civil rights. At this time, they would call him a freedom fighter. He was the biggest freedom fighter of the 20th century, him and Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman and then Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass and then Harriet Tubman. They were the biggest freedom fighters for the 20th century. You can look that up. If I want to say, Time magazine coined him the biggest freedom fighter of the 20th century, him and Harriet Tubman. Who was his benefactor? What's his name?
Yeah, you want me to share the screen?
His name is Henry Lloyd Wright. Is that his name?
No, well, the one that I that put up for me was William Lloyd Garrison.
That's his name. Henry Lloyd Wright was the famous architect that built a lot of homes, Tudor-style homes in Kansas City. This devil here, this oppressor here, William Lloyd Garrison. Can you do me a favor, Kukum? Can you pull up the quote that William Lloyd Garrison gave. In fact, before you pull up the quote, read about William Lloyd Garrison. Because remember, tonight's class is, are there any good white people? Guess which white person that many black people from the past would claim to be a good white person? This devil right here, William Lloyd Garrison. Read what you got about William Lloyd Garrison.
It says he was an American abolitionist.
He was a what?
American abolitionist.
What is an abolitionist? Does anyone know? Also, shalom to the sister Zara. We're absolutely going to send prayers up for the sister Zara's mother. Shalom to her. Yahweh Shema Tabashim Shah. Most High in Christ. Shalom, sister Bashamak. Yahweh Shema Tabashim Shah. Do any of you hardcore One West sisters and brothers know what an abolitionist is? Kakam Gabar, do you know what an abolitionist is?
Pretty much, just to sum it up, it's someone who fought against slavery.
No.
To abolish slavery.
Give him a hand. It's someone who wants slavery abolished. And the reason I told you no to your first answer, because you had white men in the Union Army who was fighting against the Confederate Greys, and they didn't want slavery to end. Do you understand? So fighting against it doesn't mean you want it to end. It's something that you felt was your civic duty, like voting. An abolitionist is someone that wants to end slavery, whose goal in life is to end slavery. That was William Lloyd Garrison. Keep reading.
Khan. He was an American abolitionist, journalist, and social reformer. He is best known for his widely read anti-slavery newspaper, The Liberator, which Garrison founded in 1831 and published in Boston until slavery in the United States was abolished by the 13th Amendment in 1865.
Give me his relationship with Frederick Douglass. He was a benefactor for Frederick Douglass. Remember, you don't have HBCUs without the money of rich white men who were abolitionists in the 1800s. You want to know where all of your HBCUs come from? They all come from white people. All of them. Black people didn't have, they were slaves. They were fresh off the plantation on a new plantation called the sharecropping field. How in the hell would they got the money to create a school like Morehouse or Spelman? That is from the white people, white men and women who had the money to give to people like Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois and Frederick Douglass to start colleges for black slaves who were coming out of slavery. That was a period of history called the Reconstruction era. It was called the Reconstruction era because it was a time after slavery. So technically we were free according to legal documents. We were free according to the Emancipation Proclamation. So from 1866 to 1875, only a 9 to 10 year period is the period of the Reconstruction era. Black slaves, the tribe of Judah, got 9 years to create Rosewood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Spelman, Morehouse, Lincoln University, Cheney University, Mary McLeod Bethune Cookman, FAMU. Give me some more. Give me some more HBCUs. Fort Valley State. What's one that you called out? Howard University, named after a white Confederate general, Howard. Right. General Howard. You know why? Because it was given to black people by white money. That's why. Spelman is named after John D. Rockefeller's wife. You understand? Prairie View. Give me some more HBCUs. Prairie View in Houston. TSU, I don't believe is a Texas Southern. Yeah, it is. Texas Southern, HBCU. Mary McLeod from Cookman. FAMU, Fort Valley State, Morehouse, Howard University, Norfolk State, Virginia State, Hampton University. Brother, black people had 9 years, a decade damn near, only a decade. And we created, built, manufactured the South. the culture of the South. Black Wall Street, Rosewood, Florida. This isn't even a generation, is 20 years. That's how long a generation is, 20 years. Half of a generation it took for Negroes in the South to go and create schools, trade schools, learn trades, get farms. Remember, 1876, during Reconstruction, Black land ownership skyrocketed to 20 million acres. I think now it's at like 40,000 acres. I think all of the tribe of Judah only owns a collective of 40,000 acres. We once owned 20 million acres. Do you know what we grew? Rice to keep the American economy going. Watermelon. We raised chicken and livestock. Who was the ones taking care of the farms on the plantation? The tribe of Judah. That's why we're so successful at it now, because we are the original animal husbandry. We are the farmers in the Bible. The Hyksos is what the Egyptians called us. We didn't live in the same land and dwelt in Upper Egypt. We lived in Lower Egypt, taking care of the sheep and the flock and the chickens and the quail and the pheasant and growing watermelon and rice and different grains for Egypt. That's why we were so sought after by the Europeans during the transatlantic slave trade, because he needed the same people that built those pyramids and took care of the farms that made Egypt what it was, to do the same for America, to do the same for Mexico, to do the same for the Trinidad, Jamaica, and the Caribbean islands. And so they went to Africa to get the Hamites, to get us to get on Arab slave ships, and the bow of Arab slave ships covered in piss and feces and period blood to be sold on plantations to the Western expansion, to the Western part of the globe. And we created America. We built America. We built their infrastructure, their cities, their reservoirs, their ravines, their rivers. We're the reason why you have so many dams here. You're the reason why that DC is built and architect the way it is. It was a brother, Benjamin Banneker, who did that. You understand? A brother who was not even a generation after slavery. In fact, Benjamin Banneker, that was in the 1700s. That was while slavery was still legal. Benjamin Banneker designed Washington, D.C., designed the clock. This is the stock that you descend from, brothers and sisters. What stock does the white man descend from? Give me the relationship between Frederick Douglass and William Lloyd Garrison. What does it say?
Right here, it just says, while many supported him, which is Frederick Douglass, William Lloyd Garrison, a leading abolitionist, was Frederick Douglass's earliest and most crucial sponsor, launching his career by bringing him into the abolitionist speaking circuit.
William Lloyd Garrison, if I may concur, William Lloyd Garrison is the reason why Frederick Douglass was able to speak and have so many speaking engagements. Remember, Frederick Douglass taught himself how to read. He was a slave. He was a slave. He was born a slave, just like Booker T. Washington. Born a slave. Taught himself how to read because it was illegal for him on the plantation to read, because you would have your eyes burned out of your head. So he taught himself how to read. Not even a generation after slavery. He was the world's biggest freedom fighter. They got word of Frederick Douglass all the way in France. They knew who Frederick Douglass was. This is before the internet, brothers and sisters. Do you understand? That's how great of an orator he was. And William Lloyd Garrison was the reason why he was able to get speaking engagements, because William Lloyd Garrison had a newspaper, the Boston Chronicles or some garbage like that. And because he was because he had a business in journalism, he made sure that Frederick Douglass had pieces in his newspaper. And so he began to get requested by other white abolitionists. And they asked Frederick Douglass to come and speak at this college, speak at Harvard, speak at Boston University, speak at Yale, speak at this college. Speak at, and then eventually in July 4th of, I think, 1876, he was requested by It had to be during Lincoln. It had to be during Abraham. So it had to be 66 or 65 or 64. He was requested by the president of the United States to come and speak at the White House. And Frederick Douglass gave one of the greatest speeches ever, called "To What is the 4th of July to the Negro?" William Lloyd Garrison is who helped Frederick Douglass launch his career in speaking and orating and freedom fighting. He was his main benefactor and a close associate, a close friend. What happened to their friendship? Keep going, Kakum. Does it say what happened to their friendship?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It says it with this one. I passed it up because I was trying to, but it's right around here somewhere. I just seen it.
If I may, while you find it, you may not be able to get to it. It's no sweat. Let me sum it up for you. William Lloyd Garrison believed that Negroes shouldn't be slaves. You understand, Kakum? And this was so true about so many white men that Black civil rights leaders try to push on us as white heroes. So many white men who were abolitionists, they didn't want Black people to be slaves, but they didn't want to share equality with you. Do you understand?
Right.
That's why Frederick Douglass and William Lloyd Garrison stopped being close acquaintances, because Frederick Douglass said this about William Lloyd Garrison. I forget the exact quote, but he said that he saw me as free, but he didn't see me as equal. Do you understand? Right. William Lloyd Garrison was like so many white abolitionists. They wanted women like Harriet Tubman. They wanted to help women like Black women like Harriet Tubman to free slaves because they did not agree with the institution of slavery. Now, does anybody want to blow my mind on why white abolitionists didn't agree with the institution of slavery? We just read how the wicked are estranged from the womb. So white people aren't righteous. So it's not because of any righteousness, right, any morality. Why were white abolitionists against the institution of slavery? Does anyone want to give it a shot? If you get this answer, you're going to blow my mind. Does anybody in the chat want to give it a shot? Why were white abolitionists against the institution of slavery? Because remember, these same white men and women who didn't like the idea of the institution of slavery, they also are the same ones who didn't want to share equality with you. They didn't want you to have the same opportunities as their white children. They didn't want you in the same schools with them, which is where you get Plessy versus Ferguson here in Missouri in 1853. Separate but equal. Separate but equal. That's the precursor to Jim Crow. Who do you think were pushing the laws for Jim Crow? Racist white Southerners? No, racist white Southerners wanted your Black ass back in chains. Racist white Northerners who fought to end the institution of slavery. White people in the North are, contrary to popular belief, are just as racist and hateful toward us as white people in the South. Salakia. William Lloyd Garrison wasn't a good white man because he wanted to end slavery.
Right.
White people who wanted to end slavery during this time, as you do research, they didn't think that you were equal to them. They just didn't want you in captivity. Does anyone want to give the answer why, the clear answer why that is? Does your rib Shalom know how I want to try? Kakum Gabar? Put her on the microphone, Kakum. Put the microphone up too. Say it again.
Yeah, she gonna give it a shot.
Okay, go ahead. Get her on the microphone, Kakum.
Shalom, sir.
Shalom, sis.
I don't know the answer, but outside of them just being the devil that the Bible speaks of, is it something political? Like it would something to do with like their place in society? Like
you're close, not political. It's economical. The reason it has to do with economics, not politics. The reason the South wanted to keep them in slavery is not only because white people benefited from our labor, but for political reasons, because they wanted that vote to count. They wanted black numbers to count for the electoral colleges when they went to cast their ballot, which is where the 3/5 of a man clause comes from. If you were 3/5 of a man, how many 3/5 will make up a whole? So now you have 500 slaves. Out of 500 slaves, you're more numerical than the North. So it had to do with politics for the South, but that's not the reason why white Northerners wanted to end the institution of slavery. It wasn't political. It was economical. Do you want to give it another try, sis? Now that I gave you that it had to do with economics and not politics.
I don't know.
Let me give you a hint. Let me give everyone a hint. Who during slavery, right? In 1861, you can look up the census of 1861. What side of the Union had more of an economic bust? Who was more robust when it came to the railroad expansion, when it came to crops, when it came to money? Was it the South or was it the North?
It was definitely the South.
No, it was not.
Well, I know the North, they had more of the industrial phase.
Say it again, Kakam.
In the North, they were more advanced in the industrial.
Industrious. The North were more robust, industrious, industrial. They had a more robust industry because of all of the metal plants, all of the coal refineries, the railroad companies. All the North led in every numerical statistic category at the turn of 1860, before the Civil War began. They had a more robust military. They had a more robust industries like coal and iron workers, steel workers. They had a more robust economy than the South. They led in every statistical category. Who do you think were working in those steel mills up north? Who was working in those? Say it again.
The slave.
Not during slavery. We were on the plantation.
Right. But, after that.
Don't go after. Don't jump there, because I'm not yet, because then you're going to give everybody the answer. During slavery, who worked in those industries up north in New York, in Boston, and Pittsburgh? Who worked in Cleveland and Cincinnati, Ohio? Who was working in those plants?
Yeah, that would have been like the Irish.
Give him a hand. And so now let's connect it. Give the sister a hand. She answered it right correctly, said the North. So if the North had more of a statistical advantage economically in 1861 during slavery, when it was the Irish, the Italians, and the Germans and the Gypsies who were working in those plants, building the industry for the North, why then would a white Northerner like to end the institution of slavery? Remember, these were rich white men who wanted to end the institution of slavery, that were Yankees that lived up north, that owned the steel mills, that were John D. Rockefeller, that owned the oil refineries in Pennsylvania. Why would they want to end the institution of slavery?
Yeah, sister wants to give it another shot.
Please, Shalom. No, I know she's going to get it. She's intelligent.
The water, sir. Hopefully so.
I am
So we have the Irish, the Germans, different kind of whites working. So wouldn't it profit them to now get out of those labor positions and become like management and owning, in a sense, like those?
No, because white people from America, they didn't see Irish and Italians and Spanish, they didn't see them as equal. And so because the Irish were mixed and the Italians were wops, they didn't see them as equal. John D. Rockefeller didn't see Irish and Italians as equal. Henry Ford in Detroit didn't see the Irish and Italians as equal. So it wasn't to get the Irish and Italians out of the factories. Who were they trying to get into the factories?
Right.
Same sister. Who were they trying to get into the factory? Can you put her on camera, Kakum? Is there a way you can put the camera on her?
Yeah, come on.
Let's put the camera on the sister. Right? And while she's giving it another shot, is anybody in the comments section, would you like to give it a shot? Why was there such a push of rich white abolitionists at the turn of the Civil War who wanted to end the institution of slavery? Go ahead, sis.
I guess they wanted to get the slaves into.
Give the sister a hand.
Okay.
Yes. All right, Kakum, you can turn it back on you now. Give the sister a hand. Yes. White Northerners, who they call the Yankees, they wanted to get black slaves into the northern industries to make more money. A slave from the South can't go north because he's a slave. You understand? He's owned by a white Southerner. He has a boss. He has an employer. So he can't go and make John D. Rockefeller more rich. He can't go and make Henry Ford more rich. So what has to happen then? Slavery has to end. That's why so many white Northerners were abolitionists. How do I know what I'm saying is true? Not only because history says it, but because the same white person in the North, from the North, who wanted to end the institution of slavery, when slaves got free from the Emancipation Proclamation, guess what those same white men like Henry Lloyd Garrison said? See, I didn't want you a slave, but you and I are not equals. White people from the North didn't see you as equal. They didn't see you as an American citizen. They saw you as Irish or Italian, a lesser class than the Irish or Italian. That's why you have the creation of race in America. That's why now every application says, are you Latino, non-Hispanic? Are you black, non-Latino? Are you Arab? What are you? Because at that time, Irish and Italians were niggers. Do you understand? Right. They were niggers. And they got lynched up north, not in the South, and in the South. I'm not saying they were equally as oppressed as we were, but white Americans did not see mix and guinea wops and gypsies, which is a racial slur. They didn't see them as equal. So they had, once Negroes got free, the white man said, well, shit, the Irish and Italians are still, they're not niggers. They're not the niggers who are free from slavery, because white people hate us more than anybody. So they said, well, these Irish and Italians are a little bit better than them. So what are we going to do for the Irish and the Italians? We're going to give them the workforce, the police force, and the fire department. That's why the Fraternal Order of Police, whenever a cop dies or a firefighter dies, what do they play at the funeral? Bagpipes. Bagpipes are not American culture. It's Irish culture. You understand? Because the Irish were given the police force. That's why they're so racist against Negroes. That's why, until this day, there are Irish and Italians who sit at the head of the Fraternal Order of Police and the Fraternal Order of the Firefighters, because it's what America gave them when you got free from slavery. You see, you were never equal in their minds. William Lloyd Garrison didn't give a damn about Frederick Douglass. He just didn't want him to be in captivity in the South. Why? So that you can come and build white factories up north. That's white abolitionists in a nutshell. The Bible says they go speaking lies. That's who the oppressor is. But guess what we learned in history? Kakam and Shalom Nahar and Zara and Mami Mariam and Bashamath and all the watchers who are watching this class. We learned the latter. What the sister Shalom Nahar said. We learned the former. We didn't learn the latter. We learned that white people up north were good because they were abolitionists and they wanted us free from slavery. They never said how they treated us when we got free from slavery. You ever heard of the riots, the drafts of New York before the Civil War? White men in the North were so angry at the fact they had to go and fight to free niggers in the South. They lynched 3,000 black men in New York City in 1861. That's a real historical record. So don't give me that white men up north were better than white men down south because they didn't own slaves. They didn't own chattel slaves because you were a slave to Henry Ford.
Right.
You were a slave in the Ford factory. You were a slave to the Atlanta Train Company. You were a slave to Norfolk Southern. You were a slave to John D. Rockefeller's oil company, dying in their uniform. Black people, black men still die in his work uniform. Jeremiah tells that story of how Captain Ty Ward found their father, their physical father in the world, dead in his UPS or FedEx uniform. So you didn't get free because you went up north to go work for a new slave master, and that slave master wasn't less cruel than the one down south. They just didn't want you in the possession of the South so that the North could have all of the money. And until this day, the North has all of the money thanks to the sacrifice of the Benjamites, the Negroes, and the Latinos who moved up to New York and Ohio and Detroit and Chicago and made life better for some white factory owner. The same way they're doing the Haitians today and the factories in Iowa and Nebraska and Ohio. You always have been a slave here. You just switched hands of who owns you, who possesses you. Does everyone understand? You had something you wanted to say, Kakam?
No, look, I mean, you know, if anything, yeah, definitely. It was all, like you said, it was an economic play. And they knew that if the slaves stayed in the South, then the South would get the free labor. You know what I mean? They would get more economic power because they getting free labor, you know? So they just switched one slave owner to the next.
That's right.
So it was just a power move. Like you said, it wasn't because they felt any type of compassion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't like you know, we might bring up the only one, if anything, that might have had some type of compassion was when we brought up John Brown. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, we're gonna get to him. Save John Brown for the end. He was a good white man. Yeah. You understand? He was a good white man. We're gonna get to him in the end. So like, keep going, Kakam.
But yeah, when it comes down to what's the name, Will, and all the people that created the NAACP and all these different, you know, at the end of the day, when it came down to all those educational systems, they also had a hidden agenda. And that's when they started teaching you that you're African.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and then a lot of it was the small hats was behind it too.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So if you know, you could do research, people could do research that when it came down to anything, whether if it was a civil rights movement, the Reconstruction period, the small hats always played a close hand by us because they wanted to see, you know, especially them fake rabbis or whatnot. They know somewhat of the prophecies. They know that we, the children of Israel.
That's right.
They knew that we would rise up one day, so they got to play close and see when those things start transpiring.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Because back in those days, wasn't Crawley and all them coming up too?
Who did you say?
You know, like the earlier so-called pastors, what was his name? Crawley, and the ones who knew that they were Israelites, like they was teaching a certain kind of form of that so-called Negroes were the children of Israel.
That one I'm not sure. That one I don't know, Kakam. You would know more about that than me.
But it was a small fraction because it was like, you know, like General Muhammad would teach. We always like there was always certain people from the South who knew, and then the more they got north, and then they start bringing those things up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So yeah, but yeah, I yield.
Damn right. Give him a hand. That's yeah, your oppressor has always been the devil, even the ones who you think are good. Are there any good white people could come? That's what the question is today. I don't see no Negroes in the chat saying there are. Maybe Donald Trump then deflated your spirit, because just 10 years ago, you would have told me, yeah. I remember going to camps for the first times in Baltimore, in Virginia, even in DC. And there's always a battle about white people being good. All are not bad. I don't hear that so much anymore. And I thank the Lord that Donald Trump is in office, because now you are starting to see the cruelty of your slave master. Now Negroes are hesitant to say there are good white people could come. You're hesitant to say, maybe they ain't so good, because these white people that we know and we work with and work around and live next to, they all voted for Trump. They all love Trump. Does anybody wonder why there isn't a push from the Democrats and from white liberals to get Trump out of office? I haven't seen that yet. He was impeached his first term. He ain't being, listen, he did less damage his first term and got impeached. Kakumgabar. I don't see what white people, I think white people actually starting to see the writing on the wall. You understand? I don't think white people are that good. I want some black person to show me one. We're going to show a woman who I know so many black Christians will consider a good white woman in a second, right? The woman who wrote White Fragility. She wrote White Fragility. She's a PhD, and we're going to show her in just 1 second. But before we get to her video, I want to show you who the devil is, who the devil looks like. Look at this trash here. Salaki could come. Look at this. Yikes. Look at that there. I got one that's going to scare you in a second. Hold on. I got one. Yikes. That's scary right there. Could come. Look at that. JD Vance. That's JD Vance. That is the devil. That's Esau right there. I got one that's going to scare y'all in 1 second. Hold on. That's scary too. Look at this. Imagine coming home to this thing right here.
Good
night. You know Clarence Thomas is married to an ugly white woman. Did you know that? He's married to a white woman. This is what Clarence Thomas, this is what he has to look forward to. Some nasty looking white woman. Yikes. I got some more for y'all. Hold on. I ain't done. This looks like a colored image from 1942, the Nazi party. This cat here looks like a full-out Nazi. And this is who's in Donald Trump's cabinet. Shout out to Vanity Fair. Hold on, I got some more. Don't go nowhere.
You look
at that. Is a Nazi. That's Stephen Miller, whose wife is Jewish. This cat is a Nazi. Do you understand? This cat, Stephen Miller, is married to a Jewish woman, something Miller. I forget her first name. She is the devil the Bible speaks of. This cat, Stephen Miller, is a full-out Nazi sympathizer, just like Laura Ingraham on Fox News. They said Laura Ingram's brother said that growing up, her father kept Nazi memorabilia and would worship it. This was in an op-ed from Laura Ingram's brother. They did an op-ed and they featured Laura Ingram's brother, that bimbo on Fox News, who hates blacks and Latinos. Brother, she's worse than Ann Coulter, Laura Ingraham. Worse than Ann Coulter. She grew up a Nazi sympathizer because of their German father. These people who love Donald Trump are Nazis. This cat, Stephen Miller, he looks like Joseph Goebbels. This devil, Stephen Miller, looks like Joseph Goebbels reincarnated. Look at this devil here. Are y'all ready for the next one to come? Viewer discretion is advised. Are y'all ready for the next shot? Hold on. Oh, I guess it. Hold on. Oh, they ain't got it. They took it off, Kakum. They took it off. Where is it at? Hold on. Let me take this off. I don't want to spoil the surprise. Hold on, Kakam. Hold on. And while I'm finding this scary image, I want you to pull up the video of Dr. Joy DeGrew and go to 21 minutes and 33 seconds. 21 minutes and 33 seconds. All right, everybody. Is everybody ready to see this next one?
You said Joy, the one with Joy?
Joy. Oh, God. Oh, God. Look at that. Oh, my God. Woo, boy, look at that devil there. She's younger than me, Kakam.
Good night.
Caroline Levitt, the White House press secretary, is younger than me. I remember coming to Kansas City, and all the brothers and sisters in Kansas City said, "Damn, sir, you so young. You so young. You so young." Brother, I am young. That's true. I ain't trying to be older than what I am. This devil, Caroline Levitt, is younger than me. Look at those lips. Oh, my God. God, Kakam. God, look at that. Look at those lips. Look at that face. Look at those eyes. Look at that skin. She got crow's feet. And listen, she has makeup on. She's got makeup on, and she's still ugly as the day is long. This is who black men want to have sex with. This is who you want to have sex with. Woo,
Yeah.
boy. Lord be with you. Lord be with you. I don't know how you can look that in the face and get hard. So like it. Say it again.
That's like that football player the football coach, what was it, Michigan? He getting fired over shit like that. Excuse my friend.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, please. Watch your language. Yeah, God. Now, seriously, Kakam, that's the truth. That's the truth. He's getting fired and losing money and going to jail over something that looks like that in the face up close. Woo! And she's younger than I am, Kakam. She's younger than me. She's a damn 28-year-old heifer. And that's how she looks at 28. Jesus Christ. Yikes. Yikes. Shalom, sis. Yahweh Shemar Tabashim Yahushua. Oh, this is the sister that showed up to the food drive in Iowa. Give the sister a hand.
Yeah, come.
Most High Christ, sis. It's good to see you, sis. We got the brother Banayah. Shalom, mighty man. Shalom, my sis said, I'm not no stinking ass Hamite. I'm an Israelite. They're not one of us, and we're not one of them. Give the sisters Zara a hand.
That's great.
Damn right, sis. All right, you got that clip to come?
Yeah, come.
Are there any good white people? Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, fair use.
All right, take this off. So like, here we go.
Yeah, fair use. We're using it for educational purposes.
Using it for educational purposes, YouTube.
Folks that blessed the slave ships. And then, of course, and this is interesting about John Newton, because we all know about, the first thing you hear, John Newton, what's the next thing you hear? Amazing Grace. John Newton, Amazing Grace. Well, let's figure out what happened before.
That devil, John Newton, Sir John Newton, was the composer of Amazing Grace. You know the song Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. That song, brother, has been sung in gospel and in Christian churches, black Christian churches, since 1790. 200 years, almost 300 years, black slaves have been singing that song. This is the devil who wrote the song. Play it. Oh, Salaki.
We got Amazing Grace. He said slaves are lesser creatures without Christian souls and thus are not destined for the next world.
Paul.
What becomes important about this kind, and you'll see it both.
Is that your Christianity, white people? You see, white people gave us a religion called Christianity. In our Christianity that black people worship and serve and love, when a white cop goes and murders our brother by accident, we go to her trial and hug her and forgive her. When a white racist named Dylan Storm Roof goes into our grandparents' church and murders 10 of our black elderly grandparents while they're at church, In his hearing, we go and hug him and forgive him. When Peyton Gendron murders all the black people at a Tops grocery store in Buffalo, New York, the news station, when they interview the victims' families, they ask black people, do you forgive Peyton Gendron? That's what they do for us. And guess what we do? We forgive them. That's our Christianity. In our Christianity, the people who enslaved us, we pray for. The people who murder us, we forgive. The people who raped us and destroyed us, we love, and we put on their uniforms, and we worship the God that looks like them, and we fight for their country. This is what white Christians believe. Replay that, about 10 seconds. 10 seconds, replay it.
Particularly Europeans. This is where the whole, oh my God, dare I say the big ugly word most folks are afraid of, because we don't really care too much about the healing.
No, go back a little bit more.
Get better,
go back
you
a little
people.
bit more.
But don't try to touch the resources. That would be reparations as a result. He would be worth, based on the 1700s, right now, he would be worth.
She broke down what he said about black people. John Newton. It was 2134, right there. You had 2134.
The first thing you hear, John Newton. What's the next thing you hear? Amazing Grace. John Newton, Amazing Grace. Well, let's figure out what happened before he got Amazing Grace. He said slaves are lesser creatures without Christian souls and thus are not destined for the next world. Now, what becomes important about this kind, and you'll see it both in American history as well, there is this.
Listen, Kakam, we are Christian. And we were Christian then. We was Christian in the 1600s on the shores of Virginia and South Carolina on the ship called Jesus. We were Christian in. I can't hear you, Kakam, you muted. We were Christian in. And this bastard comes along 100 years later in the 1700s, makes the song Amazing Grace and says that Negroes, slaves, aren't human and aren't destined for the next life. That's white Christianity. White Christianity is exclusive to them. White Christians don't have to allow Asians in. They don't have to allow Negroes in. They don't even have to believe that you have to be kind to your neighbor the way black Christians believe. They don't believe that. White Christians believe you only have to be kind to your own people, and every other race you can enslave and you can rule and you can be cruel to. That's white Christianity. Keep playing.
Kind of dehumanization of African people. Because you got to ask yourself this question: how do people who deem themselves superior, who see themselves as the civilizers, who recognize themselves as what we call manifest destiny, the white man's burden of civilizing all the rest of the races, how do you reconcile being the superior being and engaging in barbaric behavior? What that produces is something called cognitive dissonance. How many people are familiar with that? Cognitive dissonance is really thinking discord. It's when you begin to feel conflict between what you believe or understand or hold to be true, and you are then faced with behaviors, either in yourself or others, that conflict with your fundamental belief. It produces cognitive dissonance. Human beings don't function well with cognitive dissonance. You must remove the cognitive dissonance in order to function. So in order for people to perpetuate slavery and to perpetuate that whole system that lasts for centuries, you had to remove all dissonance associated with it. Can't be anything wrong with me.
You hear what she just said? Ain't nothing wrong with me. This begs the question that I asked in that video I did could come yesterday, that all white people are coming at my head and they're in the comment section saying God knows what, defending slavery, all because I asked the question, how come white people don't have PTSD for what they've done to my people? That's all I asked. and Dr. Joy DeGruy, who I love, by the way. I would love to interview her. I really would. She is an exemplary, and she is an amazing doctor, and she has amazing studies that benefit the work of the Lord tremendously. And she answered my question. You know why white people have PTSD for what they've done to the Vietnamese in the Vietnam War, and to the Arabs and the Iraqis and the Afghans and the German Nazis? Do you want to know why they have PTSD for them, but they don't have PTSD for what they've done to us? Because in the white man's mind, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians are not human.
Right.
Now you have to live with that as a black person. Your whole life you've been shucking and jiving, trying to earn the love of your oppressor. Meanwhile, he doesn't even think you're a human being. He doesn't even consider your humanity. He looks at you like a dog or a cat or a glorified horse. Is what I'm saying made up? Is what I'm saying not true? Come Gabar, give me David Hoffman on YouTube. I'll send it to you. Give me David Hoffman on YouTube. I'm going to send you a good clip, a good video. You think that what we're saying in the UPK is just far-fetched, right? That we're just a bunch of racists and a cult. I'm going to show you from a white man's mouth what white men thought about us. Yeah, here we go. I'm going to send it to you right now. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Let's see. I should have sent it to you before class. I should have really saved this thing here. And it is so heavy what he says. And then there was another one of a white woman who was a slave owner that they interviewed. Here it is right here. I'm sending it to you right now. In Messenger, I'm sending it to you right now. I just sent it to you, brother. I just sent it to you. Show me what white people think of black people. Because here you are thinking, well, officer, this brother, he's just speaking lies. He don't know what he's talking about. Let me show you what white people think about black people and Latinos and North American Indians. Play that video, Kakam Gabar. For fair use, educational purposes only. Skip ahead. Keep going. 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 It must be at the end. Right there. Go back. 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 Right there. Right there. Right there. Play it right there. Your video, your audio is muted, Kakam. You gotta unmute yourself.
No.
There you go. I can hear you now. Go ahead and play it.
No, I just gotta. What it is sometimes I gotta stop sharing and then reshare. Like sometimes it just automatically just loses the.
The sound. Okay, no sweat. No sweat.
Yeah,
We'll wait while the brother is getting it back up. No sweat. No sweat.
It's back up now. Just
okay. Here we go.
Tell me now on anything she sweated on. I mean, how can that be? How can it be?
The white man does not want to give over his institutions, and that's what people fear that would happen. You just don't want to turn over the reins of everything and give up control. Who wants to give up control?
We're out. Okay, guys, get in the car. Let's go.
So white supremacy is undoubtedly a feeling that white people have all over the world. Of course, how the black man and the white man would live together has been the paramount concern of people ever since the Mississippi Valley was settled, especially when the greatest number were the black people. The problem is I don't need the men I used to need.
That was good too, but you're gonna have to go back. I'm gonna find where it is. See, that's not. It has to be another clip. Go back early in the video, Kakam. Go back early in the video. early in the video and play it. Let it play from early in the video. We might have missed him saying it over the video footage. So just go back early in the video and play it.
And woman and child in Mississippi can rationalize how they have always been friends to the colored man. All of a sudden they wake up here one morning and are told that what the way they've operated for the last 100 years is wrong. This is a hard thing to just tell a man that he spent his life doing something wrong. He doesn't have to believe it. And then all of a sudden, we're some kind of demon. If you live in Mississippi and run a cotton plantation, you're supposed to be some kind of demon. This is the national image of a cotton plantation operator in the Mississippi Delta.
Humphreys McGee owns a 2,500-acre plantation.
They had to have clipped it because there
His
was so
mother's
much
family has been in the
backlash
state for
because,
7
you know, the white man
generations.
don't like when you tell the truth. But brother, on this same video a while ago, I want to say maybe even a year ago, this same devil sat down, and while he was being interviewed, they asked him, well, what did you think about black people? How do white people think of black people in the South? And he said, we think of them as glorified dogs or cats or horses. That's how white people think of you. While you're wanting to change the hearts and minds of white people, they think of you as an animal. They don't look at you as equal to them. William Lloyd Garrison was a white northerner who was a benefactor of Frederick Douglass, who was an abolitionist, and he still thought of black people as less than human, as less than a white man. You see, you are never equal to a white man, ever. There was a scene in that movie, Mississippi Burning, which is one of my favorite movies, based on a true story with William Dafoe and Gene Hackman. And there was a scene where Gene Hackman, who was portraying a Mississippi farm boy who later became an FBI agent that solved the case of the 4 civil rights missing workers who were found to be killed by the white Southern racists of Mississippi. He told a story of his childhood, and he said how when he was a child, there was a black farmer who had a mule, and his white daddy, didn't have a mule. And this black farmer had a mule who was a good mule. And with this mule, he was able to plow his fields. He said one day, when we got up to leave, we saw that black farmer. His mule was dead, and he and his family had to move from that plot of land because with no mule, he can't farm his land. So they had to move. And he said he saw this black family with tears in their eyes moving because the mule was dead. And he said, when I looked in my daddy's eyes, I knew he did it. I knew he killed Mr. So-and-so's mule. He said his daddy looked back at him and said, son, if you ain't no better than a nigger, who are you better than? Brother, that is in every white person. That right there. That's the reason why white women who work at Cinnabon thinks they're better than you and you're an architect, Kakam. This brother Kakamgabar is an architect. And some white bitch who works at Cinnabon, excuse my language, she thinks she's better than you when you went to college and she didn't, when you're more educated than her. She thinks she's better than you. You know why? Because that is in the spirit of every white man. Give me Ezekiel, like. Give me the scripture I sent you, Ezekiel chapter 35. Give me that real quick. Give me Ezekiel 35:5. Son, if you ain't no better than a nigger, who are you better than? Meanwhile, black farmers did better than their white counterparts. They did better than their white counterparts. He had a mule in the 1920s, this black farmer, and the white farmer didn't. You know why? Because you know something I found out in life, white men are lazy. White people are so lazy. They are the #1 welfare recipients. White people receive welfare more than any other ethnic or demographic group in the country. White people with jobs, white people who are veterans, which means they receive money from the VA every month. How do I know? Because I am a goddamn veteran. They receive money every month from the government, and they still go and apply for welfare just so they don't have to get a job, because white men are the laziest people on the face of the earth. White people. They can't stand to see you go to Harvard and Yale and be a pilot like that old idiot Charlie Kirk, who's dead now. Charlie Kirk claimed to be some goddamn learned man who dropped out of college. He dropped out of college, Kakam. And here he is criticizing black pilots. Who in the hell is he to criticize any black person who went to educate themselves when he dropped out of higher education? He dropped out of college and he had the nerve to go and criticize some black man who went to college, some black woman who went to college. Guess what? He was at colleges debating black children that were going there to benefit themselves, benefiting themselves to make themselves smarter than Charlie Kirk. All of those black people that Charlie Kirk battled was smarter than him. How do I know? Because they were getting degrees, some of them master's degrees and PhDs, while little old stupid ass dead Kirk, who's dead, he goddamn did not finish school. He did not finish school. And he's burning in hell right now for all of you white people who love Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was the devil the Bible speaks of. God did not give a damn about him, and he's burning in hell right now. And his bastard white children are next. And so is that bitch of a wife of his, who if we lived in the 1800s, she would have been enslaving me and his brother could come right now. If we were living 150 years prior to right now, Charlie Kirk and his dumb bimbo wife, who was a whore, would have been enslaving us right now. So goddamn Charlie Kirk. That was the Lord who made sure that he was put dead in the goddamn dirt for his cruelty and racism towards blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Let me tell you something, Mark. You white people are next. All of you racist white people who hate blacks and Latinos, you ICE agents who oppress Negroes, who oppress the Latinos, La Raza, God is going to kill you next. And he's not going to do it by the hands on a gun from another man. Your hands are going to be on the gun when you put it in your mouth and blow your brains out. ICE agents, NYPD, KCPD, you're going to be the next Charlie Kirk because God is sick and tired of your cruelty against black people. This is what's in every white man. Read the scripture you got,
Yeah, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Verse 6, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto blood.
So what I'm saying, this idiot that's commenting, saturated something dumb, idiot, dumb, white, racist, Trump supporter. He says we clowns. Well, this is what the Bible says. This ain't tough talk, idiot, Trump supporter. MAGA, make America great again. This isn't hate. This isn't tough talk. This is what God said. Read it from the top, Kakam Gabar.
Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and has shed the
you
blood.
Have always hated blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. From the day after Esau sold his birthright to his brother, he regretted it and wanted it back. So you have always hated us. In the womb, Kakam. In the womb, me. In the womb, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were fighting with white people in the womb. We have always been at odds with each other. He has always hated us because we're better than him, because we are God's chosen people, and he knows it from the birthright. He knew that birthright didn't belong to him. He knew his mother, Rachel, hated his guts, and that she was going to make sure that birthright went to us because it's what was in the biblical prophecy to happen. Esau knew it, and he's always hated us since before we were even born. He's wanted to see us dead so he can get the prophecy, so he can get the birthright, so he can rule the planet for 1 billion years, for 1,000 years. He's wanted it. He's wanted it with his avarice and his hubris. He's wanted to unalive us, and he's done it. Enslave us, and he's done it. All because he has hated us, because we are God's chosen people, and he is not. Keep going.
This is Ezekiel 35 and verse the middle of verse 5. And hath shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword.
He has done what? What has the white man done to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians?
Shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword.
He has shed our blood with violence, lynchings, murders, slavery, Emmett Till, the civil rights era, where he bombed 4 little black church girls who were in kindergarten. What kind of an animal would blow up a church full of children? What kind of an animal would blow up a bus full of children and innocent civilians? Only someone who hates you that much. He's had a perpetual hatred so much that he would rape our children and cut open the womb of our wives and our mothers and our women on the table before they gave birth to a black child. You had doctors like J. Marion Sims, who we're about to read about in 2 seconds, who committed violent acts of cruelty towards black slave women in the 1800s. And he has a picture on the medical on America's medical doctor's wall. He's glorified glorified in American medicine. He's considered the father of gynecology, the father of obstetrics and gynecology, a man who made science, who made scientific advances by committing acts of cruelty on black slave women. This is the white man that we're talking about. Are there any good white people? Saturated, what's his name? Saturated Odin 476. Are there any good white people out there? Saturated Odin 476. Are there any good white people out there? I want you to answer, because J. Marion Sims says different. Donald Trump shows me there are no good white people out there. The devils who are the doctors, the reason why you have the cry it out method, those two devil doctors, those white doctors, they were cruel to black babies, cruel to white babies. I gave the brother the article. We're going to pull it out in just a second. But before we pull these articles out, I want to ask the question, the topic of the class. Are there any good white people? That's what I want to know. Because my whole entire life, I've heard that there are. But I haven't seen it, Kakam. I haven't seen it. Keep going.
Khan. They you shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of
the sword. Violence and murder are the only things that white people, our oppressor, is good at. There is nothing else that this white man is good at outside of violence and oppression. He's good at murdering and killing. The Bible says that he is blessed with the sword. Esau was a cunning hunter. That's what he's good at. Murder. He's not good at being just. He's not good at being civil. He's a dog who needs to heal. That's what the white man is. All he knows is the fist and the boot. He doesn't know how to be civil. He doesn't know how to game up a woman. He has to rape a woman in order to get a woman. Is what I'm saying tough talk? Is what I'm saying hyperbole? Is what I'm saying racist? What I'm saying is true. What I'm saying is the reason why you have monogamy, the abduction of the Sabian thieves. White Greeks raped the real Europeans' daughters. And that's why you have monogamy. That's why you have a contract on a piece of paper that says, when I die, everything goes to my wife. That's not biblical. When a man dies, everything goes to his firstborn. Everything goes to your firstborn. That's where your inheritance goes, not your wife. Why doesn't it go to your wife? Because you can have 50 of them. Monogamy is raping women. That's where it comes from. That's the inception of it. It's written in the white man's history books.
Right.
That's the only way he's able to marry a woman. He can't be like Cucumber Bar and put on Captain Cesaria Call gas, beard oils, and go game up a sister like Shalom Nahar and make her his rib and have a beautiful life and have a beautiful home and help brothers and sisters in Iowa. He can't do that. He has to go and rape a woman and make like Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk, he made the woman who went to a job interview to get a job from him his wife. Erica Kirk, first and foremost, she's banned from like 2 countries because she is a pedophile and a child molester, just like Donald Trump and just like Giselle Maxwell. She is banned from like 2 countries for her sexual illicit promiscuity. Let's just say that. And she went to go and try to get a job from her husband, her late husband, Charlie Kirk, who God killed. And he said, I'm not going to give you a job, but I will give you a date. And she married the man who was going to be her employee, her employer. And he married his employee, which means that's what? That's rape. That's rape. By definition, if you have a woman that is your maid and you have sex with her, you rape her. You two are not on an equal playing field. You're not equal. She's not your peer. She's your employee. But white men cannot get tail unless they buy it, unless they pay for it. A woman has to be like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who had sex with his maid and made a baby with her. That's rape, Ak. If you're a brother out there and you're hiring women to do a job, do not sleep with them. If you're a barber and you own a salon, don't have sex with the women that are working for you, paying a booth fee so that they can come in there and wash hair and braid hair. You are no better than the white man. That is disgusting. You don't have sex with your employees because what did that say? They are having sex with you so that they can keep their job. That's illegal, and that's rape by definition. And that's the only way white men can have sex with a woman is if they hire them out, just like they did our grandmothers in slavery. The brother said, only one I've heard of is John Brown. Give Wesley Boyd a hand. That's been the only good white man in history. Right. John goddamn Brown. He's the only good white man that's ever lived.
That's right.
Keep going, Kakam.
Khan. Ezekiel 35. In the time that their iniquity had an end. Verse 6. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord God, I will prepare thee unto the blood, and blood shall pursue thee.
Blood shall pursue our oppressor. Why shall blood pursue him righteously, justifiably? Because he pursued us. That's why. Right. He pursued us with violence and with blood and with murder. And so because of that, now justifiably blood shall pursue him. If you live by the sword, you die by the sword. Our oppressor has made his living murdering blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He's doing it right now in front of our face with ICE. He's unaliving Latinos. There was a brother who had a seizure that ICE did nothing about, all because they wanted to make an arrest and separate families. They're making their living by the sword. So guess what's going to happen to ICE agents? They're going to be killed with their sword. That's called justice. That's called equality. That's what equality is. You've murdered men by the sword. Now you're going to be murdered by the sword of men. That's justice. Our God is a just God. I don't know if you know that or not, but the Lord is not going to allow what happened to Emmett Till to go unpunished. He's not going to allow what happened to Atiana Jefferson to go unpunished. Oscar Abrego, Philando Castile, the slaves. He's not going to allow what Cortez and the Mexicans and the Spanish conquistadors did to La Raza to go unpunished. He's not going to allow what ICE is doing to La Raza and to the Venezuelans. He's not going to allow that to go unpunished because God is a just God. Your Christian God, your grandmother's white Jesus, her God is unjust. Your grandmother's God would have the slave and the slave master in the same heaven. God would not be just if the slave and the slave master is in the same heaven. Saturated Odin 476, you still have not answered my question. You still haven't answered, are there good white people out there? Are there any good white people? Why do black Christians, this is a question I'm going to ask black Christians this Saturday could come. This Saturday, I'm going to ask black Christians and Latino Christians. I'm going to ask them if slaves and slave masters are in the same heaven together. Would God be just? Would God be just if slaves had to live in the same heaven as their master that raped them and whipped them? I'm going to go back up to a comment by the sister, Mommy Mariah. She says that's even heavy. He said they make it like we're some type of demon, as if whipping, killing, and raping slaves isn't demonic. Give her a hand. That's what that devil said in that video, Kakun. He said they make it out like we're some demons because we own plantations. Nigga, yeah, you're a goddamn demon. You're the devil the Bible speaks of because you're a liar. And with your lies, you have made men think that you're not the devil and you're not evil because of all of your violence against blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You know what white people are good at doing with their lies? They're good at making us feel guilty. They're good at making us feel like we're the problem. Like we're wrong for being hurt by our oppressor. We're wrong for seeking justice from our oppressor. They make it seem like we're the ones who are wrong. We didn't mass murder a nation of people and steal their culture, steal their God, change their language, and have our name on them. We didn't do that. But you know who did come? White people did. And they never had to pay for it. And now because blacks and Hispanics are finally waking up to the truth of God, to the truth of the Bible, and requesting and requiring our oppressor to pay for what he's done, now we're the problem. Now we're clowns and we're racist because we want justice. We're racist because we want justice to come. That's the lies of your oppressor. He's so good at lying that he's made black people feel guilty for bringing up race. He's made blacks and Hispanics feel guilty for not appreciating his crimes against us. Only a devil can do something like that, Kakam. Only a liar, a deceiver can do something like that. Give me the story of James Marion Sims, please. Give me that article. I sent it to you. Give me Rethinking the Legacy of James Marion Sims. And then after you show me that, give me the Right Fragility lecture by Dr. Robin DiAngelo, the white woman I brought up earlier. Give me James Marion Sims first, and then give me that. All right? You see, our oppressor is the devil, and he has his day coming. But this is my question to black people. Are there any good white people? Are there any good white people? Is there anyone out there who wants to answer? Is there any white person that's in class who's watching this video who would like to answer on behalf of your race? Are there any good white people out there? Show me what you got,
Colonel Khan. So this is from Equal Justice Initiative, Rethinking the Legacy of Marion Sims. Reading on, it says artist Michael Browder is among many urging the re-examination of Dr. J. Marion Sims, a white physician who enslaved, abused, and experimented on black women in his Montgomery, Alabama office. Can y'all see that, or should I blow that up?
You should blow it up because I can't see it. Excuse me. One more time. Go in, zoom in. There you go. That's better. That's better. That's fine. Can come.
All right. So yeah, he was a white physician who enslaved, abused, and experimented on black women in his Montgomery, Alabama office. Dr. Sims was celebrated throughout most of the 20th century for his work on maternal health. He was elected president of the American Medical Association in 1876 and had statues erected in his honor in New York and Montgomery.
Listen, before you go to the next part, let me tell you this. This oppressor, Dr. James Marion Sims, he is the father of modern gynecology. You know how gynecology is the study of women's private area, the women's reproductive system. And he is the reason why obstetrics and gynecology involves women giving birth, right? You know, the way that a woman has to lay on that table to push that baby out, that's his work. The research on what this does to a baby, what that does to a baby. How was he able to develop this research? Read.
Kanawakam. His work involved torturing enslaved black women by experimenting on them without anesthesia.
So these black women went anesthetized by this devil, Dr. James Marion Sims. He did not give them anesthesia, and he would cut them open and torture them with babies in their wombs just to find out the science of it all, the science of a woman's reproductive system. You white women like that ugly, hideous bimbo, Caroline Levitt, you better thank black women for their sacrifice to keep your dumb white ass alive. If it had not been for the cruelty of James Marion, there's a book called Medical Apartheid that I have. I don't have it physically with me now. In fact, yes, I do. Speak of the devil. I got a damn, hold on now. Is it with me right now? Let me see. I got the book with me, could come. Hold on. I don't think I do. But there's a book called Medical Apartheid, right, by Harriet Washington. And this book was brought to light by Captain Mashak 6-7 years ago. Brother, and that sister, Dr. Joy DeGroot, talks about it in her book. She references it in her lecture and in her book, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. Brother, it is gut-wrenching, the thing that he did to these black female slaves. These black women who were slaves, he would cut out the womb, the belly of a woman who was pregnant, take that black baby out, and stick a shoemaker's awl, that sharp pointed tool. He would stick it in the skull of a black baby just to see the anthropology of the black baby, to see the science of black people. Because of course, we're not equal to white people. We're glorified dogs and cats. So they have to make something of why don't they feel pain? That's where you get all of the propaganda that black people don't feel pain, which is why these black women he operated on were all anesthetized. Kakam, Shalom Nahar, Wesley Boyd. They were anesthetized because black people don't feel pain. They're like animals. Brother, even a horse they would give tranquilizer to. Even a dog or a cat, they wouldn't operate anesthetized. So we were less than dogs and cats to our oppressor. And you want to tell me that I have to love this bastard? You're going to tell me they're good white people? I don't see it, Kakam. I don't see it. I don't see it in history, and I don't see it today. I don't see it. I don't see where all of these good white people are. Where were the white people at that stopped him from doing this? You know, there were white men who had to assist him in cutting open a pregnant woman. There was nothing in any white man or white woman. You mean to tell me that the white mistresses on the plantation, listen, there was a part in that book, Medical Apartheid, when they went to describe the slaves that heard the screams of the black slave woman who were getting cut open. They said that there was so much blood, it was like an abattoir. It was like a slaughterhouse. Where were the white women at that was so good to black people that heard the screams of these black slave women? There was, don't give me that feminism bull, that feminism garbage. White women saying, well, black women are my sisters. Black women are equal to white women. Where was that when Dr. James Marion Sims were cutting my grandmother open on a white woman's plantation, and there was no feeling for her from white women? You weren't equal then. Right. Black women, you weren't equal to white women then. And even 50 years later, Sojourner Truth had to write a poem that said, "Ain't I a woman?" meaning that white men did not treat black women like they treated white women. Do you want to know why? Black women, all of this black men ain't shit, black women ain't shit debate. Y'all need to kill that garbage of these black and brown relationships. You're equally nothing to your oppressor. The white man thinks of both black men and black women as nothing. What in the hell are you talking about? Who's better? Who's the catch? Who's better, the black man or the black woman? Neither one of you means shit to white people. The white man operated on your woman. He raped your woman just like he raped you, brother. Just like he destroyed you and fed you crack and put you in jail. He kills your women on the gurney of an operating table. You're equally slaves to your oppressor. You're equally nothing to your oppressor, blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians. So what in the hell are we fighting about amongst each other for? The white woman is our enemy. Black women, if you want an enemy, is not black men. It's white women who allowed you to go anesthetized on an operating table and did nothing about it. Where was her women's intuition in? Where was her equality for black women in? You had white women like Margaret Thatcher, who came along in the 60s, who tried to recruit Angela Davis and black women into the women's feminism party. Feminist ideology that said that black women and white women suffer equally. No, you don't. Where were white women getting cut open by James, Mary, and Sims? I haven't seen that equality yet, Kakam. Why aren't we equal in cruelty? How come black women didn't blow up a church full of 4 white girls? If we're so equal, Kakam, how come we're not equal in cruelty? There's a nurse. Give me the nurse. Give me her real quick, Doc. Give me the nurse. There was a white nurse in Virginia who broke the bones of black babies. Why can't I find black nurses breaking the bones of white babies? How come I can never find the equality in black people and white people when it comes to crime, when it comes to cruelty, when it comes to violence? I can never find it. I've been studying, and I cannot find the black nurse who has broken the bones of white children. I cannot find a white woman who was anesthetized, getting her babies cut open on a gurney in Montgomery, Alabama in 1876. Why is it that I haven't found the equality in cruelty? I'll tell you why, Gabar, because our oppressor is the only cruel animal, and we aren't equal to our oppressor. We aren't equal. God didn't make all men and women equal. He chose blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to be the best thing on the face of the earth. That's why there can never be a black nurse that breaks the bones of white babies. Do you want to know why? Because black women are not cruel. Black women are not animals. Black women have something called kindness and affection and soft and loving and nurturing, and white women don't. That's why they let you get cut open on a table in Montgomery, Alabama by James, Mary, and Sims and did nothing about it. That's the reason why black men have never bombed the church full of white children the way that white men have bombed the churches full of black children, because black men aren't cruel. Black men aren't violent. Black men aren't animals, but the white man is. Read what you got, Kakam.
Salakia, you wanted me to play the video or keep reading?
Please play the video. Yes, please play it.
The circuit courthouse was 50 minutes long. The Commonwealth's Attorney's Office spoke at great length, detailing the gruesome allegations inside the Henrico Doctors Hospital.
Anger that I have to be here to show up for my son for the rest of the 2023 babies because somebody abused our children.
Dominic Hackey sat in the Henrico courtroom Wednesday as the Commonwealth's attorney urged the circuit court judge to keep Aaron Stratman in jail. Stratman is charged in connection with injuries. One baby at...
Brother, you see the picture of that hideous devil? That devil is the face of feminism. That's who you black women, and you're online, as the white man has our sisters and brothers online arguing about who's the catch, who's better, black women, black men, all that stupid debate about black men versus white men, about black men versus black women. Let me tell you, black women, something. This is who your real enemy is. Go back to that picture of that devil eye. Go back to that picture of that white nurse. She's a nurse who is in care of taking care of black babies that are in NICU. This is who your enemy is, black women, her. She's the one that allowed her white husband to rape you in slavery. She is the reason why she never helped you in slavery. She never helped you during the Reconstruction era. White women never helped you during women's suffrage. She's never helped you. She watched you get raped by her white man and said nothing. She watched you get cut open by her white husband and said nothing. She watched you get your black babies stripped away from you and sold to the nearest plantation, and she did nothing about it. This is who your enemy is, black woman. This is who your enemy is, Latino woman. This is who your enemy is, Native American woman. Not a black man, not a Latino man, not your Native Indian men. We aren't your enemy. We aren't each other's enemy. She is.
Right.
This is your enemy, sister. This is your enemy. Keep playing, Kakunga Bar.
Circuit Court judge to keep Aaron Stratman in jail. Stratman is charged in connection with injuries one baby at Henrico Doctors Hospital sustained on November 10th of 2024. Hospital officials say 3 babies in the neonatal intensive care unit were found with unexplained fractures in November and December of last
Pause it. I can't
year.
even finish that video out. Pause that.
And say the cases are similar to injuries suffered by other.
This oppressor, she broke the bones of black babies in a NICU. Babies who are already more fragile than an average baby because they're born prematurely. And she would go and snap and break their bones and break their neck and break their skull, just like her white forefather, James Marion Sims. The apple don't fall far from the tree, Kakum. Where was she when, I know what she was. She wanted you to get your womb cut open by James Marion Sims. You got to stop letting white women off the hook, black women. That ain't your sister. That ain't your home girl. And black men aren't your enemy. White women are your enemy. She allowed her white husband to torture you and to commit acts of cruelty against you. And she benefits from it today. She's the reason why you're the number one to die from childbirth, and she's not. She's the reason why the doctors know what dose to give a baby of this medicine, of this formula, because they use your black babies to experiment on. White women are your enemy, not black men. Keep going. I'll give you the next story. Give me the next story I sent you, Kakum. Give me the next one. In fact, give me for time's sake, we're gonna end it with John Brown. We're gonna end it with John Brown. I wanted to get that white fragility devil, Dr. Leangelo, but we're gonna go straight into John Brown now. Give me the article I sent you on John Brown and give this brother Wesley Boyd a hand.
You want me to
he didn't spoil the surprise. My question has been for the last 2 weeks in these part 1 and part 2 classes, are there any good white people? I'm going to answer my question tonight. Are there any good white people? Yes, there are good white people. There have been one good white person. And guess what his name is? John Brown. And we're going to read about him right now. That is a good white person. You see, John Brown didn't watch black women get cut open and do nothing about it. He didn't watch slave. And listen, you know what, doing my research on him, what I found out? That John Brown not only stood up, fought, and defended for Negroes, he did the same for North American Indian too. You see, I think John Brown knew that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were the real Jews. I think he knew that. Mm-hmm. We're going to go into this. I can't call him an oppressor. He's a white man. I'm going to call him a white man that I respect. He's not an oppressor. He's not the devil. He's an honest white man, and he's exemplary to you white people. You should all be just like John Brown, but you ain't. And I know why you're not, because the wicked are estranged from the womb. Let's go. I'll read what you got.
This is from the Encyclopedia Britannica website. It says John Brown, born May 9th,
skip all that and just give me in 1859. Start there.
When he died, right here?
No, in 1859 made him a martyr to the anti-slavery cause. Give me that.
Oh, Salakia. in 1859 made him a martyr to the anti-slavery cause and was instrumental in heightening sectional animosities that led to the American Civil War from 1861 to 1865.
Now go down, skip down, and I want you to go down in the summer of 1959. I want you to give me the Harper's Ferry raid. Just so y'all know, I'm up here in Kansas City. Right next to us, about 45 minutes west of me, is a city called Lawrence, Kansas. You ever heard of something called the Jayhawkers? That's a phrase for white Kansans who are against slavery. Why? Because Kansas was a free state and Missouri was a slave state. That's where you have the Missouri Compromise. The Missouri Compromise is what sparked the Civil War. What sparked the Missouri Compromise legislation to be passed? John Brown. There were what they call marauders. What do they call them? Missouri bushwhackers, I think is what they call. They portray it in the movie Josie Wales with Clint Eastwood, a real good movie. If you ever get the chance, read it. But there's a book. There's also a book. I'm going to recommend this book to y'all about John Brown and his Harper's Ferry raid. Give me 1 second. It's a great book. Let me see what it's called. All right. It's called Where we at? Is it on this one? Hold on, Kakon. Hold on. Let's see. A Voice from Harper's Ferry. No, it's called Five for Freedom. The African American Soldiers in John Brown's Army. It's a book by Eugene L. Meyer. A great book. I recommend it to anybody. And this is the reason why I recommend it. Because not only do I, this period of history is always interested in me to learn about. John Brown in particular, because he's the only good white man I give credit to. He's the only good one, right? This book shows and highlights and goes over the 5 black men that were with John Brown during Harper's Ferry. You see, a lot can be lost in history, meaning that history, they say, is written by the winner. So white people, because John Brown was still a white man, even though he fought against slavery and fought against white people, he's still a white man. So they want to portray Harper's Ferry like it was just John Brown and a bunch of white men that were going to free black slaves. No, there were black men with John Brown who went to Harper's Ferry to kill oppressors too, and the striving for freedom for black people. So that book is called Five for Freedom. It's a book by Eugene Meyer. It's a great book. There's another one called A Voice from Harper's Ferry, another good one about John Brown. If you're doing any research on him or anything like that for history class, read what you got out. Go ahead and keep reading what you got.
In 1855, he followed 5 of his sons to Kansas Territory to assist anti-slavery forces struggling for control there, a conflict that became known as Bleeding Kansas.
It's called Bleeding Kansas. If you are from Kansas City, if you're from Kansas, you absolutely know about John Brown and Bleeding Kansas. It's written in our history. It's written in our fabric here. It's written in our. It's so many statues of John Brown here. It's one about 15 minutes away from me. If you go down to the Legends in Kansas, it's a place called the Legends. It's where the Kansas Speedway is. There's a mural the size of what can I equate it to? It's the mural the size of Saks Fifth that's drawn. It's a memorial dedicated to John Brown in right here in Kansas City, Kansas. And they have a mural the size of Saks Fifth on the wall out there by the Kansas Speedway. And they have a huge, I think it's the biggest statue of John Brown in the country is right there at that same place where that mural is. Then you go to Lawrence, Kansas. And then there's some here in Missouri. There's some all over Kansas. We are surrounded by him. And let me tell you something good. I think there should be a statue of him everywhere. I think there should be more murals of him. And this is the reason why. We are absolutely inundated with John Brown history here. More than anyone else, any other children in the country. Our children learn about him. Maybe not anymore because of Trump. But I know when I was a child, brother, every black and Hispanic, every white here in this region, he was coming out of the walls. It's where the phrase "I'd be John Brown" comes from. You ever heard that phrase? Well, I'll be John Brown. That from him. That's because white Southerners said shit. I'll be John Brown. I ain't John Brown. I ain't a traitor to the Confederacy like he was. And that's what that phrase became synonymous with. I'll be damned. You understand? Keep going.
Conor McCon with the it was Bleeding, Kansas, and he with the wagon laden with guns and ammunition. Brown settled in I.S.U.P.K and soon became
I said good job. You read that correctly. Usually people will get I.S.U.P.K wrong. Go ahead.
Oh, Conor McCon. And soon became the leader of anti-slavery guerrillas in the area.
Keep going.
Conor McCon, brooding over the sack of the town of Lawrence by a mob of slavery sympathizers on May 21st, 1856.
If I may, there's a caveat there just to throw this in there because I'm a huge history buff, especially history during this time, the Civil War history. The devil who became a major in the Confederate Army from Missouri, he was the main one leading that the slavery campaign. They called them bushwhackers. They were called Missouri bushwhackers. He was one of the ones who fought against John Brown's men in Kansas, in Lawrence, Kansas, and then came to Missouri and did the same thing over here. He became one of the majors. There was a devil who fought with them who became anti-slavery because of John Brown. And you can go look this up. I forget their names exactly. I don't want to get their names wrong. But one of them became a major in the Confederacy because Missouri has the second most Civil War battles in Civil War history. The state that I'm living in currently. It has more than Mississippi, more than Florida. Well, Florida, it didn't count. It had more than Texas, more than any other southern state. It had the second most. You understand? That devil who was fighting against John Brown later fought with or for his cause and became a Jayhawker, anti-slavery, all because he saw the cause that John Brown fought for. Keep reading what you got, Doc. Keep going. I wish I remembered their names. Like, I don't remember their names. I used to remember all of their names, these generals and devils. I remember the main ones like Robert E. Lee. I remember the ones like John Bell Hood, Leonidas Polk, William Tecumseh Sherman. I remember the big boys, but I sure forget them small majors. Some of them I remember, but I can't remember the ones that were here in Missouri. But go ahead, Kakum. That's neither here nor there. But go ahead, Kakum.
Brown concluded that he had a divine mission to take vengeance.
Read that part again. This is what I need blacks and Hispanics to hear. Read that part again.
Brown concluded that he had a divine mission to take vengeance.
He had a divine mission to take vengeance. To take vengeance against who? And what is this divine mission, Kakum? Shalom Nahar, Wesley Boyd. What is this divine mission? What does that mean? I'm going to give it to you for time's sake. Go ahead, Kakum. What was you going to say?
I was going to say pretty much that he felt that the Lord put it on him to do this act.
Give him a hand.
Act that he was doing. Good.
And guess what? The Lord absolutely put it on John Brown to take vengeance against slave masters. That's what's so beautiful about it. See, white people, don't fight that urge. You know what I've noticed about our oppressor Kakum in wrapping up this class? White people don't ever fight the urge to lust and to sin. They never fight that urge. But white people always fight the urge to be righteous and honest. White people, I don't know if you notice or not, but that is the Lord that's giving you that urge. You know, whenever you're at camp, I know because doing these interviews, I can see the look in their face when they don't want to be honest. I say, is the white man the devil? And I'm just asking them a question. And you can see, should white people pay for what they've done to black people? And you can see it on their face. They want to be honest, but they can never resist their flesh to be honest, Doc. They can never do it. They can't resist that urge to be honest and righteous and moral. John Brown resisted his flesh, and he became known as the greatest white man to ever live. All because he resisted his flesh to be the devil. All because he resisted his natural urge to be an animal like Donald Trump and the rest of his white people. He resisted that. And he became someone who did great things for someone who was less fortunate than him. John Brown resisted his urge to be a devil and to be an animal and to be a violent murderer. And he used the divine intervention. He used what he thought was the calling on his life to go and save slaves. He gave his life, him and his 5 sons, he gave his life and his sons' lives just so black people can not only be free, but can be treated like a human being. When you do research on him, he wasn't like William Lloyd Garrison. He didn't believe in separate but equal. He also didn't believe that black people were not his equal. He didn't believe that. He didn't believe that North American Indians was his equal. There's a funny story about him I'm going to give you right now about the tribe of Gad. There were a group of white men who came to him, and they said, because he was a preacher, a reverend, they said, we need you to get these native, they wanted to take these Gadites land, these North American Indians land in Virginia. And they came to John Brown and said, can we, how much can we pay you to run these Native American Indians off this land so we can take this land? He turned the gun on those white men and he said, I will not do such a thing that's so evil and so mean, but I will run you off of their land. That was John Brown. He believed in humanity. He fought the urge to be a devil like his white counterparts, like the family that he came from, white people, the tribe, the Edomites. He fought being an Edomite. He fought that. And he wanted to be kind. He wanted to be civil. He wanted to live as human beings and have some compassion on someone other than himself. What does that teach other white people? White people, you can do the same thing. You don't have to be Donald Trump. You can look at the cruelty of the Latinos that ICE is inflicting on them with their cruel tactics and devices, and you could stand up like John Brown did, but you don't, because you don't resist that natural urge to be cruel and to be the devil. You don't resist it. You white women don't resist. You see what the white man, your husbands, are doing to black women. You see how they treat black children in school. You see how you treat black children in school, and there's nothing in you that wants to resist it. There's nothing. You can be like John Brown. You can give your life to making sure that blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians are treated fairly and equally. And guess what else he did? Kukunga Bar. This is the part I want you to get to. This is the final part, and I promise I'm gonna wrap it up. Go ahead and read that part out.
Where was we at? Yeah, Brown concluded that he had a divine mission to take vengeance.
To take
3
vengeance.
days later.
Please go ahead, read. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead and read that part.
3 days later, he led a nighttime retaliatory raid on a pro-slavery settlement at Potawatomi Creek, in which 5 men were dragged out of their cabins and hacked to death.
What? Whoa. What did John Brown do to these 5 men?
Dragged them out of their cabins and hacked them to death.
Here's the final part. This is the caveat. I like sounding, sophisticated, could come. Here is the caveat to that. To resisting your flesh, white people. See, you have to resist your flesh of being cruel and evil and violent. Here's what John Brown did. That's what John Brown did, correct. You know what else John Brown did, could come? Anybody want to blow my mind? This is how you are. This is how you become to be. This is how you are made to be a good white person. If you want to become a good white person, like John Brown, he not only gave his life, him and his sons' lives, to protect black people and to free them and to help them in humanity and love and kindness. You know what else John Brown did? Does anybody want to give me the answer of how you can become a good white person? Don't all speak at once. Salaki, could come. Would you like to answer?
He unalived them. He gave his life and
he did what, Kakon?
He unalived them.
He unalived too.
His white counterparts.
He killed white people so that black people can be free. White people, if you want to be counted as a good white person, I think we all know what you have to do. You have to be like John Brown. Do you understand, Kakon? You have to be like John Brown. John Brown didn't just treat people with kindness. He didn't write books to educate white people about. This is something I don't understand about white people like Tim Wise and Dr. What is her name? I said Leanne, the doctor who wrote White Fragility. She's a white woman. I get their point, and it's good what they're doing. They're trying their best with what they have. They write books that talk about their cruelty, not to educate black people, but to educate white people. John Brown gave white people a different kind of education, Kakon. Do you understand?
Right.
He didn't talk with white people. He didn't write books. He didn't put in books the cruelty. You don't think white people know how cruel they've been to niggas? You don't think white people know how cruel they've been to Latinos and Native Indians? They know how cruel they've been. White people need a different kind of education from white people, from good white people. I think John Brown laid down the platform and the format and the blueprint on how to educate white people if you're a good white person. If you're a good white person, if you want to be counted as good and for the Lord to have mercy on you, like he's going to have mercy on John Brown in the reincarnation, you're going to have to do what John Brown did. You're going to have to educate white people the way that John Brown educated white people. And then maybe you can be a good white man like he was. And maybe you can be a good white woman like he was. With that, I pass the class over to Priest and Officer Cucumber Bar.
That's right. Yeah, with that, this is the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, start out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister: when a brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. And after that 6 months period, if a brother and sister is interested in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to that brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. And after that 6 months period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find that in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21. The book of Malachi, chapter 3, 8 through 10. And that means a tenth in the Hebrew, ma'asharah. And that's 10% of every penny of increase the Lord gives you. You can get that to the Treasury Department or to the teacher. And a priest fund, that is not mandatory. It's a free will offering. It's whatever amount you would like. And the upcoming Holy Convocation, this Monday at sundown, that's the closing of the Feast of the Feast of Dedication. So give the Lord a hand on that.
And just so you know, there is no closing, so it wouldn't be like how you close out the feast of the memorial blowing of trumpets, or how you would close out unleavened bread. So it wouldn't be a closing. It's just a feast you have for 8 days. All right,
Okay,
and after the 8 days, you're not required to have the menorah lit. Now you can still do it if you like, but it's not a requirement like it is during these 8 days for the memorial of the Feast of Dedication. All right.
The
reason I said that, so brothers and sisters don't think that it is a high holy day like Passover or the high holy days written in the book of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. It is a memorial. Right.
And then the last holy day of the year is Purim. That's the 14th day and the 15th day of the 12th month, which will be Monday, the 2nd of March at sundown. Monday, Tuesday, March 2nd and 3rd at sundown in 2026. And then, of course, give it a Lord a hand. Then, of course, this weekend, if you're in the Kansas City area, we having the a food and clothing drive, you know what I'm saying, underneath Commanding General Yahanna, being orchestrated by no other than Officer Malak himself. This weekend, December 20th. So definitely reach out to Officer Malak if you have any questions. We're gonna give a courtesy salute to the teacher, Men of Israel, Majum. You can stand. Men of Israel, Majum Shabbat, Majum, Barak, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Barakatah.
Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Barakatah.
Yahmatah, hands down. Sorry, we're gonna give a courtesy salute to the sisters, Majum, which means to stand. Men of Israel, Majum Shabbat, Majum, Barak,
Yahweh Shabbat, Bashim Yahushua.
That was a top class this year. Oh yeah, Salakia. Yeah, I forgot if we could. I forgot we had mentioned about if you could, you know what I'm saying. I think he closed up.
Go ahead, Kakam. You had something you want to say?
No, yeah, I was gonna say if you could give the sister a shout out, throw up a prayer for the sister Zara. I remember we mentioned it earlier. If you could lead us in that for her mom.
Oh yeah, Khan.
Because her mom's in having I don't know if there was a specific UPK type prayer we could do, or
yeah, let's get a sister
if you just
prayer.
want to
Give me
go
one
ahead.
second. The water for reminding me, Ak. Give me 1 second, all right?
Yeah, kind of more calm.
Okay, I got it, Kakam. You ready? All right, we're about to say this prayer for the sister, Zara's mom. All right. I just want y'all to repeat after me, all right? You ready, Kakam Gabar?
All
right, Majum, everyone
Salaki, say that again.
I said, is everyone ready? I Majum, everyone stand. Wapanya Hakwadam, which means to rise and face the east. We're going to face the east. All right? And this is for the sister Zara's. What's her mother's name? Does Shalom Nahar know?
Salaki La'ah.
Okay, we'll just say Zara's mother. So it's the sister Zara's mother, all right? Yahweh. Bashim Yahushua. Barak Lanawa. Wayashala. Waha. Bayat Saparium. Barak. Rapah. Magun. Hagun. Bashim Yahushua. The water Aman. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Bless us. And Israel. And the school. Bless. Heal. Shield. Protect. Zara's mom. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it. Most High Christ. Sar, turn. All right. Most High Christ. The water for reminding me that yeah, everybody's dismissed. You too, Abba. You dismissed. Most High Christ.
Most High Christ. The water, sir.
I ain't boy, no sweat.
Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. the I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General Yahanna presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026 in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person, ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahanna. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and warlike apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.